What's going on, everybody? Back again. Hey, it is time for the 2020 Neely Henry. You thought I forgot, didn't you? Well, guess where we are right now? We are still in the great state of Alabama. We are here at Guntersville. My truck's right here. We've got Matt Airy right here. Check out the garage that we've got this week. We're renting a nice house here by the lake. And the tournament actually starts in the morning, guys. So before we start this whole new Guntersville series, we need to close out the Neely Henry series and the little 2020. And I'm going to break down, I only need about maybe 10 minutes of your time. We're going to blow through this pretty quick. I'm going to tell you some of the things that I learned about that event, some things I could have done better, some things that I did good. So I'm going to dive into that, talk a little bit about the baits, my decision making. Obviously, Matt made some great decisions as well, almost won the tournament, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But Neely Henry 2020, oh yeah. You know, we were there in the fall for the Bassmaster Opens, and it was tough then, but fall fishing anywhere is tough. But you know what? I actually enjoyed Neely Henry because of the challenge of it, right? It was a challenging event because we, again, had crazy weather conditions. We had the crazy rain. It rained like 7 or 8 inches. It flooded up the river. The water dropped on the lower end because they opened the spillway up. It was just a very unique situation. And they actually canceled the first day of the tournament. We actually thought maybe they might even cancel the entire event, which a lot of people were like, yeah, we can come back in on a rescheduled date. But nevertheless, we kicked off a day late, but that tournament was a lot of fun, guys. I didn't catch a ton of fish, but it was neat figuring them out, right? So what I had found was a few little offshore places down by the dam, and then found some shallow fish, you know, in the grass, but the grass fish kind of went away because the water dropped down the lower end, but the pattern was still there. So first day, you know, I didn't catch them all that great. I had 8 pounds, 8.5 pounds or so. It was basically middle of the pack. Wasn't great. You know, I did miss a couple fish that day that would have, you know, helped me by a pound or so, which would have put me a lot higher in the standings. But, you know, I learned a lot that day because the conditions are so different. It allowed me to kind of get an idea of what's going on. So day one, 8 something. Day 2, I switched it up. I decided to stay up mid-lake. What I noticed because of those weather conditions and that flooding is that the middle part of the lake kind of stayed normal level, if that makes any sense. From the ramp north was flooded, from the ramp south just a little ways was normal level, and then from there south was 2 to 3 feet low. Crazy deal. I started day 2 just south on the river on the main run. I was actually running down the river and I saw those white egrets and some blue herons standing on the bank. And anytime in the spring you see those birds standing there, that's a shad spawn indication. And I literally whipped it right into that shoreline, picked up a spinnerbait, a triple bladed spinnerbait, and started catching some nice fish. Ended up with 3 nice fish then, and then I ran on down the lake and try to put together some stuff down there, but it just really couldn't get it going. You know, down there, the conditions, what happened was the water, when the spillway was open, it was sucking the water out of the creeks, clear water out of the creeks, and it was a unique situation. The middle of the river was muddy, the creek mouths were clear, and those fish were biting pretty well, and they kind of stopped the spillway releases by quite a bit, so it backed the lake up a little bit, and that stained water moved in. Now, where Matt really made a good decision, and he kind of learned on the fly as well, is that he was catching fish off the steeper shorelines. And this is where I learned something. You know, anytime the water falls, and this also goes true when the water rises. When water rises or falls, it's better to get on a shoreline or a bank that has a lot of vertical depth to it, okay? A flat bank, for example, where it's, you know, 100 yards out in the lake and it's still a foot deep. Those fish spread out, they just kind of, you lose them, right? And that's kind of what happened. I stayed on the shallow side of those creeks a little too much, fishing some of the super shallow docks, super shallow brush that was still left in the water, thinking that those fish would just relate to a little bit of cover that was in the water, but I was wrong. Those fish were there. They didn't swim to the other side of the creek where Matt caught them, and some of the other guys, they just didn't bite where I was. You couldn't target them and all that. But on the other side, on the bluffy sides, where maybe, you know, it was 10 to 15 feet deep, That water dropping 3 feet over there is not a big deal. Those fish just kind of stay in that same zone. They were living on the same docks or living on the same rocks or the same shoreline. And so that was the lesson that I learned there. I kind of thought those fish would be a little easier to target on my side on the shallow water, and that was not the case. So all the guys that did well, again, mostly fished the deeper sides of those pockets and creeks going up and down the lake. So I never did get on that bite. So good job, Matt. You did really well. And Matt caught some big fish off docks too, skipping little worms. And as a matter of fact, take a look at this footage. This is when your heart will skip a beat.
Oh, it's a good one, I think. Gosh, please stay on there. Please stay on there. Oh my God, he's on this side. Oh, he's all wrapped up. Got him. Got him. What a cluster. That's what we're talking about right there. That's what we needed. That's a pretty good call right there. I'd say that's a good call.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, him catching that fish, it was a difference maker, 4-pounder. It obviously put him in the cut. It propelled him almost to win the tournament. A couple more fish like that, Matt, you'd have been winning that tournament right there. But awesome job, Wes Logan, to win in front of the home crowd on your home lake. I mean, what an awesome victory that was. Your emotions on stage, man, said it all right there. So awesome job. And I'd tell you what, he's a great fisherman. I actually did some filming with him in Canterbury down in Florida, hung out with Wes a little bit, and he's awesome fisherman, obviously. Good dude, and he's going to win a bunch more events. But that being said, back to the tournament. Here's where I messed up, okay? So on day 2, I started on that stretch of rivergrass, and I caught some nice fish there. But then I left there, went down the lake, didn't really put anything together with it, and came back up. The problem was I missed some fish, right? And look, in every tournament, you know, you're going to miss a fish or two. Some tournaments are more than others. But this was a weird one. Like, usually when you miss a fish, it's something like, you know, you didn't set the hook properly, the fish had a different angle on you, like just a couple little things that happen. But this was one of those times where, like, they literally hit the spinnerbait with a trailer hook and didn't get hooked. Like, of all the times that I've fished with a spinnerbait, with a trailer hook, and had fish hit the bait, I miss them like that. It doesn't even make any sense. And then I had a couple that literally just came up and, like, hit the blades. So, lesson here. After looking at the footage, right? So in the Bassmaster tournament, you're not allowed to really get intel by looking at video footage of, like, who's doing what in the tournament. So, you know, I had no idea really what anybody was doing. But after the tournament was over, I noticed that everyone, Gerald Swindle, Wes Logan, and some of those guys that were fishing in that same stretch, right? I found that same stretch. On day 2, for some reason, I didn't see anybody there. I never saw Wes Logan. I never really saw anybody in that stretch, and I don't know why. But on day 3 and day 4, looking at the live footage, guys ended up fishing that. Wes fished there. Gerald Swindle caught some of his key fish on that stretch as well. And so I'm sure they were fishing it at different times. It just, for whatever reason, on day 2, I never did see many people. I mean, I'd see a boat over here and over there, and I see Swindle running around. But where I'm going with that is I found, in essence, the winning fish. But I just didn't fish them long enough. I wasn't efficient. But what I noticed was that everyone was throwing a swim jig. And the only thing I can figure, that swim jig, when those fish would react, they think it's a shad, they would react to it, and that swim jig, you know, they bite the whole thing pretty consistently. With the spinnerbait, with the blades, the skirt, everything moving around, and it's a quick reaction, they'll miss the bait occasionally. I don't know what the heck is wrong with these fish. I mean, it was a strange, I think they're blind. I think the Neely Henry bass are blind. That's what I think. They're blind. Blind bass. That's what I was fishing for. That's a problem. But, you know, it's like, not to sit here and make excuses about it, but to have them come up and swipe at it and miss it and just, I don't even know. Like, a couple of them didn't even hit the bait. Like, I just watched them. Oh, I'm like, what? I'm like, God. So take a look at this footage. Take a look at this footage right here. And this is where it all went wrong. I'm pretty sure they're blind. God dang. God almighty, dude. That was a freaking 3-pounder. He literally missed it, dude. Oh. Now, I don't know what that was. I didn't see that one. I don't know what to do. So that's just the way it goes. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. It's just one of those things, right? I've had lots of tournaments where I've missed fish, so I'm not making excuses, really. Like, I'm not upset about it, right? It is what it is. One of those things. But that being said, we didn't fall too far in points. I was in 20th. Now I'm in 25th for Angler of the Year. And I know a lot of guys are dropping comments on the channel like, hey, man, I want you to win. You know, you to win, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to win a tournament, right? I want to win a tournament bad. I want a blue trophy extremely bad. But I also need to make the Bassmasters Classic. That is goal number 1. So I have to fish smart. I have to fish conservative. I can't have a bomb. So to gamble and try to win a tournament, you know, the stars have to line up just right. You have to be cautious doing that approach. It works. I've done that in FLW for years. But with this being my first year on the Elites, I'm trying to get kind of an understanding of the competition, the format, just practice. Like it's just different, right? I'm just trying to get a feel for it. So we're here at Guntersville. It's going to start in the morning. I just need to have a good tournament here, and let's go into the last 2 tournaments of the year, sitting pretty for points, and we can try to make something special happen. We've got Champlain coming up. I love that place, of course, and the St. Lawrence River is right around the corner as well, and those are 2 great smallmouth fisheries, so I'm excited about that. Guntersville, again, guys, go check out the practice videos. They're going to be dropping on the channel here in a few days, and you'll get to see how this lake is fishing funky. But you'll learn a few things because actually we caught fish a lot of different kind of non-traditional ways here on Guntersville. So thank you so much for hanging out, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. We're closing in on 600,000 subscribers. So here's what I'd love for you to do. If you have time, smash the like button, drop a comment, and share the content out. And if you don't mind, go back to some of our tournament videos that you like so much and share them out on Facebook. Tell people about how great the series is. Let's start something big where we can get people talking all about the tournament series that we're producing and watching it, because we're getting a lot of good response because of you guys. So thank you so much, and we will see you. Boom!